Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news, where I keep you up to date with everything going on in the VR industry, prepare you for this week's game releases, and then finally focus in on a few major stories. Today, we have some really exciting stuff to go over, as we've seen a glimpse of Half-Life Alyx running on the PlayStation VR2, Meta has introduced a monthly subscription service, Rockstar Games might have a separate VR title in the works, and of course we'll go over this week's new game releases, plus much more. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by the OBS Bot Tiny 2 webcam. The OBS Bot Tiny 2 is an AI-powered 4K webcam with features that you just can't get anywhere else. I've been using the previous version of this webcam for over a year now, and I love the fact how it tracks me across the room while I'm playing VR games. Now this latest version is taking all of these features to the next level, and not only does it have auto tracking and auto zoom, but there's also hand-free voice controls, gesture controls, and even a remote control for the ultimate level of precision. Their new autofocus technology is 4 times faster than the original, with excellent low-light performance. There's also some other unique features like beauty mode, auto cropping desktop mode, and even some privacy protection. When you slide down the camera instead of going black, it can start streaming a preset picture or even your own video. So if you're currently looking for a high quality webcam, I highly recommend you check out the OBS Bot Tiny 2. If you're looking for more information, there's a link down in the description. Okay, so let's get this video started off like normal, where I give you a check-in of what I'm currently playing. This was definitely a slow VR week for me because I'm doing a ton of home renovations, but my most played title next to Synapse was Dead Hook. Now it's a little bit too early for me to form a full opinion, but I'm definitely digging it so far. And since July looks like a pretty dead month for new VR games, I'm gonna dip into my backlog of titles. So please let me know down in the comments right now what older VR title I should play that you've just never heard me talk about. I personally think I'm gonna start with the Room VR, but seriously, let me know what your favorite older title is. Now moving on into this week's new releases, the only title we really have is Synapse. I've spoken about this title way too many times already, and my full review is already up, so if you're interested in checking that out, there is a link above. Otherwise, all you need to know is it's action-packed, and I highly recommend this PlayStation VR2 exclusive. But if you don't own a PlayStation VR2, I do recommend you go check out Iron Man VR, because it just received a permanent 25% discount. For $29.99, it's an absolutely fantastic experience that truly makes you feel like you are actually Iron Man. And if you guys are ever looking for more of a discount, I have a discounted referral link to every single Quest 2 game located on my Discord channel, so don't forget to join. Now I wish we had more games to go over, but unfortunately that's it for this week. We did, however, get some updates on some excellent VR games, and first up is Among Us getting a new map, Polus Point. I'm sure at this point, just about everyone is familiar with the game of betrayal that is Among Us. But if somehow you're not, just know that you'll be running around completing minigames while either backstabbing people or getting backstabbed and then lying through your teeth about it. So if you need a new reason to jump back into this game, the wait is almost over as this new map releases on July 27th. Now we finally have some updates on a game that I absolutely love, but has been dark for an extended period of time. The 4-person co-op RPG Legendary Tales finally gave us some new information on their state of early access. Unfortunately, the team spent a lot of time converting the game from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, only to find that it had a pretty negative impact on the multiplayer performance, so they went back to Unreal 4. It's not all bad news though, because they're currently adding new armor sets, an array of new monsters and dungeon environments, updated skill trees for customization, dungeon waypoints, weapon crafting, a campfire resting mechanic, new weapons including spears, and finally some updated sound effects and music. So it looks like it's going to be worth the wait, and I'm ready to dump another 50 plus hours into this game. But if a co-op RPG isn't your style, let's discuss Rockstar Games making a brand new VR title. Now we are entering rumor and speculation territory, but actor Michael Ursu previously had listed on his resume an undisclosed Rockstar VR game. Now it could mean that he's voicing someone in the San Andreas VR port, but since that title was already announced in 2021, some people are under the impression that this is a brand new VR game. There's plenty of titles from Rockstar Games that we'd love to see ported, but personally I'd love them to create something from scratch. For now though, we'll just keep an eye on this story, as I'm sure we'll have some more information in the near future. But let's move on to today's last game story, and that's the Meta Plus subscription service. Now I wanted to talk about this last week, but I was waiting for Meta's official announcement, and it went live right after my weekly news. So here we are circling back after 7 days. If you're completely unaware, MetaQuest Plus is an $8 per month subscription service that gives you access to 2 separate handpicked games every single month. You can actually try out the service right now for only $1, or if you pay for the entire year, it's discounted down to $60. In July, they're offering access to Pistol Whip and Pixel Ripped 1995. These are 2 great games and definitely worth the price of admission. In August, they're offering up Mother Gunship Forged and Walkabout Mini Golf, which again are two more excellent games. So it doesn't look like Meta is going to be forcing crappy titles up on the subscription service. And ultimately, if you play a lot of different VR games, this is a worthwhile investment. I'm just more curious if this will be positive or negative for developers in the long run. It's still hard to make a living in the VR field, and I definitely don't want to see Meta out there exploiting anyone. But what do you guys think about the subscription service? Are you going to sign up? Why or why not? Please let me know down in the comments. Now, I know I said this was the last gaming story, but it turns out I lied because I do want to mention the Steam Summer Sale. There are fantastic VR titles that you can get on a steep discount from now until July 13th. Just some quick recommendations that I'll throw out there include After the Fall, A Medieval VR, Vertigo Remastered, Half-Life Alyx, and Star Wars Squadrons is an absolute steal for only $5.99. Go pick it up right now and just thank me later. Now, moving into hardware news, Sony is finally giving us another good option for full-body motion capture. Currently, the gold standard is Vive trackers and external base stations. They have an extremely high level of accuracy and work fantastic in titles like VR Chat. Unfortunately, though, this isn't really an option for things like the Quest, and other third-party solutions that use things like cameras are either quite cumbersome or a bit finicky. So until now, if you wanted something reliable, your only option was to use PSVR with those Vive trackers, but that's extremely expensive. Now, Sony has finally introduced an alternative, and while I wouldn't call the Mo copy cheap at $450, it's definitely a lot lower priced and a viable solution that's easy to set up for both PC and the Quest. As long as you're not looking for the same level of accuracy that you would get with those Vive trackers, and maybe want something more equivalent to a casual experience, the Mo copy would definitely be the best way to break into full body tracking. Now, if you are interested, this device starts shipping in less than 2 weeks on July 14th. And let's finally move into today's major story, the PlayStation VR2 working on a PC. Roughly 2 months ago, I reported on how the developer of the Ivory driver for the original PlayStation VR was making great progress in connecting a PlayStation VR2 to a PC. Now, I received some significant backlash because only a day or so after I posted the video, the developer said he was putting the project on hold indefinitely. Now, I was pretty sure I knew exactly what was going on, and I discussed this on a live podcast, and it turns out I was 100% correct. Obviously, his announcement of progress sparked a lot of interest in the VR community, and this is where you're going to see a ton of positive and negative comments. Most people are not prepared for this, and it's a situation that commonly drives content creators absolutely insane. There were tons of messages coming in saying that he was lying, he didn't make this progress, he would never figure this out, he just wants attention, etc, etc. And it's quite easy for comments like this to drown out all the admiration and pats on the back. So he was obviously overwhelmed and politely told everyone to F off by saying he was done with this project. Now, as someone who has personally worked on many passion projects, I knew he couldn't be done just like that. It's almost like an addiction, and he clearly went right back to work, and he now has a PlayStation VR 2 working on PC, but there are currently some major caveats. Currently, it's only 3DOF with no tracking support. The developer is using a no-load tracker to get around this, but that's not really a viable solution. Ideally, they need to learn how to extract the tracking information that's currently found inside the headset itself. Additionally, based on some choices that Sony made, unless you're running both Linux and certain AMD hardware, you're going to need an extra piece of hardware to get this running on a normal Windows PC. Basically, you need this to fake a signal to get the headset running. So can the PlayStation VR 2 work as a PC headset? The answer is yes, but it's definitely not a viable solution just yet, and I'm sure there's many more months of painstaking work ahead for this project. But just think, we went from people saying it would absolutely never happen in February when the headset released, to roughly 2 months later, someone saying that they had connected it to a PC, passing the authentication phase, and then very quickly saying, no, this project is done forever, followed by another 2 months, and it's now a working headset. So overall, I have a lot of confidence in this project, and kudos to the Ivory developer. Keep up the hard work, we're rooting for you.
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing. We'll see you guys on next time.
We'll see you guys on next time.